I'm hitting the button.
Make sure we're unmuted.
You are unmuted.
I didn't get the fourth. Quick, who's name fourth?
Fourth?
Yeah, who's
Me?
our fourth guy? Yeah.
Kyle, Bones.
Here,
they call me Bones.
Let me change.
Oh,
it
you're
for
Bones, dude.
Yeah.
You gotta put that on me on tonight. You.
Oh, that's you.
Well,
I didn't know that was you.
with that, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final episode, the season finale of Babbling about Boba Fett. Now, I gotta say, Paul, as always, to my left, to my right, Nev, but tonight we are joined by two others. In the chat below, you may recognize them as contributors. They're always in the stream. Immediately beneath me, in the bottom position, which is usually Nev's favorite position.
Everybody's beneath Thaddeus in his mind.
Yes, well, not everyone. Not the Jawas or the Ewoks. But I've got Bones. Welcome, Bones.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for having me on tonight.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out. And next to Bones, underneath Nev, we have, you might know this man as a number of different people. In our chat, in our conversation, if you've ever been online, then you know that he is Joe Leaper. He's also Run DMV. And I know him as the co-creator of the what do we call that? The Phoenix Rising story.
Oh,
the
an epic tale of a punk band growing up
Yes.
on the streets of Lethal.
on the
Come
streets
on,
of Lethal. Yes. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome all.
Thank you for having us.
It's good to be here, man.
Yeah, it's an honor. Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome.
You guys are friends of the family.
Indeed.
So.
Yeah.
Indeed. Nev, Paul, how are you
Yeah.
guys doing this week?
Well, I'm all right. He was the one that was sick, not me.
Yeah, I had a bad case of food poisoning Friday that knocked me on my butt.
I told you to stop eating.
Oh
out
no,
of the
it was
trash.
it hit me on Thursday. Friday I couldn't sit up straight.
Oh.
What'd you eat? What did you eat?
Yeah. What was it? That
I
gave
don't
you
remember.
Good.
It was the blue milk. Let's just call it what it is. It was the blue milk.
the free-to-play tiers that you've been drinking for the last few years. They have finally caught up to you, sir. Tonight we are talking about the last chapter in the Book of Boba Fett, or at least book 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. I mean TBD, because we don't know, right? We haven't gotten
A reading from First Boba.
Yes. First Boba, chapter 7,
Versus
one
Yeah.
through 50 or something.
Volume 1.
This was an interesting story. I gotta say, I think it wrapped up a little different than I think a number of us anticipated. But I'm excited to talk about it. So, Paul, do you want to start us off? How did we run this episode?
I mean, let's just dive right in.
Begin at the
you know?
beginning. Okay.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning. That's usually a good spot to.
Usually. Not always. Not always, Paul. Sometimes you start in the middle and then circle back with various jump points.
I mean, let's
Just
talk
like
about
this.
Let's talk about the Rancor. Oh,
Yeah. So
sorry.
that would be a great place to start. But it starts with a recap. And as always, we get the recap. As always, we get the this is what's happened so far. Now, what's interesting?
Previously on the Book of Boba Fett.
Yes. They're standing in the sanctuary, which is not very sanctuary-like, right? The whole crew, you got Boba, you got Mando, you've got Fennec and the Power Rangers.
They're not standing in the sanctuary. We start off with them looking at the ruins of the bar.
Yeah, that's the sanctuary. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay.
It's called the sanctuary, right?
Is it?
Yeah, which is ironic because it's not a sanctuary at this point. It is like you said, Paul. It is the ruins of a bar. This looks like what I would expect Tatooine to look like, to be honest. Call me spacist, whatever.
It's what a lot of pubs in England look like
Is
after at the end of a Friday night.
I can imagine. And, so
Dropkick Murphys on repeat.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
That would be a very scary place
That'd
to
be
be.
an Irish bar. Thank you very much.
Okay, it's true.
Or a Boston bar.
Yeah,
Boston.
I'm gonna end up with a rose tattoo.
Well, you got to. And so
Anyway.
Mando comes in and he's like, "Hey, I've got you some backup. I hired the people on the outskirts of town." Freetown, right? And they actually make a point to call it Freetown, right? It's not like he's like Mos Pelgo, and he's like, no, it's Freetown now. Now, I'm curious.
It identifies as Freetown.
Yeah, the party was off the chain. The party, it blew up, right? You could really say, I love that. Deanna Horowitz Newton, in the comments, the party blew up, right? It was a good party, right? You had to be there.
That would be our friend Cass. Hello, Cass.
Oh, hello, Cass. But one of the interesting things here is when Boba, when Fenneck, when I almost called him Dinnick, when Din comes in, he's like, "Hey, I've got you some backup. People from Freetown are coming." She says, "What will it cost us?" His response is nothing. It's free. Fenneck is a lady of the galaxy. She knows nothing is free. So what will it cost them? It cost them the spice trade.
Freedom costs $1.09.
Yeah, $1.25 pa. And so we've got this. I think that there's almost a split, a chasm between Fenneck and Boba, right? Fenneck is a loyal servant to Boba, but she's still along for the ride, right? And so I'm wondering if this is going to be the start of something we see that splits them.
I don't think so.
Am I the only one reading too much into that?
I think so.
All right.
Yep.
I think you're reading too much into it.
All right. I just, girl problems, you never know. I'm sorry. That was sexist. I'm spacist, sexist. It's all over the place. But she's like, look, with the spice gone, that's like Jabba's. It's not. That's where he gets his money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, how else are we going to do this without the spice, right? But
Jabba had other ways.
he did. He absolutely did. And so I'm thinking that we're definitely going to see those, and we do see a little bit towards the end, but we'll get into that. Were any of you bothered by this reaction from Boba? Like they're planning out where to go, and Boba's like, all right, we're going to go back to the palace, right? And the girl's like, no, it's a bad idea. We're staying here.
Yeah, I thought it was stupid that why was that the place you're going to start start the battle is in this area?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's spread ourselves so thin that we can't possibly be effective in any way, shape, or form, rather than every single one of us going back to the palace and, digging in where they can't get in. So it's just wave after wave of them getting shot down by everyone.
Which is the worst. This is the worst place you could have started out at.
It really is.
But let's not forget who's directing this movie.
Robert Rodriguez.
Was he
not Filoni.
Does Desperado or
Okay, so that's
does Desperado or From Dusk Till Dawn ring any bells for
Okay.
any?
Yep.
Well, Dust Till Dawn was Tarantino though.
yeah. Dusk Till Dawn was Tarantino. I think was the show Dusk Till Dawn Rodriguez?
hang on. No, sorry, I stand
'Cause
corrected. He might have been
Tarantino
either.
did-
He might have been either the producer or the executive producer.
He did a vampire movie though, right?
That was Dust Till Dawn.
Yeah.
No. He was the producer. He wasn't the. Yeah, Dad just
you
said
know-
that. Yeah.
You know what you're thinking of? What you're thinking of, Nev, is Spy Kids. He did Spy Kids.
Yeah, he did Spy
Jesus.
Kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Writer Quentin Tarantino, director Robert Rodriguez.
Albie,
You were correct.
Good job.
And there was a big bar scene
I'm
in
getting.
that too.
He directed the TV show, not the movie. I'm getting the movie and the TV show mixed up.
No, Dust Till Dawn, Robert Rodriguez, director. Tarantino just wrote the screenplay.
Oh, right. I thought.
all right.
Okay, so I was right then. So
You were right.
I was right.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
so back on track here for a second. So
That's not how we do things, Joe. That's
I know we go like tangent alert and recipes. I got it, but so let's think about this for a second. So the opening scene, the Harry Potter kids are like, cool, let's just sit right here. We'll just defend our city, right?
yeah.
When Boba's supposed to be like Mr. BA, right? He's supposed to be the guy. He's like,
Yeah.
cool. I'm Boba Fett. I'm like I'm a walking army. Let's go back here because we can't defend this.
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of going back to Jabba's palace? There are two that I can think of. Mando's ship and Boba's ship. Boba's ship has like sonic grenades, so you can like fly out of the bottom of Jabba's palace. If we've all played Battlefront 2,
Mhm.
we all know that you can just fly right out of the bottom because it's where it's at, right? So you have ships that are available. So you have air support to defend what you're trying to do.
I think there's more to it, and Deanna points this out. He also has the Rancor, and
Right.
let's not forget, since we are talking about Robert Rodriguez, he's got Danny Trejo,
Yeah.
right? And since we don't have a name for that,
Machete kills.
right?
Yes.
Since we
Machete-
don't
yeah,
have a
Machete.
name for that character,
He's
I'm-
Jedi Mashiti.
no, it sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
Machete.
Machete.
No,
He's
Sith
the
Lord
true
Machete.
wielder of the dark saber. No, but like he has a legitimate stronghold. But one of the things that this whole series, this whole concept has all been about is connecting or the people, right? He wants to build a family, and so she points that out. Like the I don't know, the chick mod is like, and I forget her name. She points that out, and she's like, "Hey,
She's
look,
a very forgettable character. Don't worry about it.
not like
No, she's the head of the House Gryffindor.
trash."
Come on.
Yeah.
House
I-
Gryffindor.
I
Nah,
feel
she's
like
more
if she-
Hufflepuff.
She's got the
She's
Slytherin
more
bite.
Hufflepuff.
Oh, come on, guys. She's full of like parts and bits and stuff. She is clearly a Ravenclaw, if anything. I mean,
She's
she's
driving the
full of
Slytherin
mechanic.
bike, though. She's on the green bike.
For now.
Yeah, that would be,
Right? She
wasn't-
probably stole the green bike from somebody or conned it out of a Slytherin because she's again a Hufflepuff, not a Hufflepuff, a Ravenclaw, totally a Ravenclaw. Anyways, like there were defensible things, but she points out, look, you want to build a family, you want to build a community. You can't do that at your palace. I think this moment with Drash and Scad, whatever, this is probably like the best character like development that we've seen for them, because they've been they're flat characters as it is, but we now know that they are Tatooinean through and through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's
Right.
the
because
reason
they forget the fact that they've been stealing from the locals. At the start of the season. Now they're all about the locals.
Years.
Different locals,
Different, of course, yes. Different,
right?
Sure.
You've got it's gang warfare, man. You got to pick your battles, right? And in their defense, they were paying an arm and a leg. Sorry, that was a total accident. They were paying an arm and a leg for water. That just slipped out. That was I wish I would have intended that, but no.
If they would have paid
That was
him
great.
in red swing line staplers, they would have gotten it much cheaper.
They would have, right? They would have. But they're decided. They're like, hey, we're gonna stay here. We gotta stay.
Here's the now I'm gonna pop the bubble of why didn't they go to Palace? Why didn't they go to the Palace? Because they wanted to defend the streets in the streets. If they ran to the Palace, that means that they cower back in their tower and they hide away. No.
Yep.
They wanted to defend in the streets.
They want
No,
to be
you
seen.
you return to your castle. I'm sorry, but wars are not. Let's do guerrilla warfare in the streets. No, you defend from a point of strength, which is why Boba said, we're going to go back to the palace and we're going to defend from there because they won't be able to get in and we'll be able to pick them off because we're all there shooting at them. That's why he chose it. And instead, he defers to a girl's, no, we're going to stay on the streets. And it's like,
So
again, and tell me again how the War of 1775 went for you guys with that ideal.
yeah.
And look at
Hold
the
on.
Peaky Blinders. The Peaky
No.
Blinders do it in the streets all the time.
So Nev, I'm gonna say, as
I'll
far
agree.
as far as that goes, I think you're right. But remember, they're more than just fighting a battle here. They're fighting a.
they're creating a story. It's got nothing
No, it
to
has
do
nothing to do with that.
with.
No,
It's got absolutely
No,
nothing
it's-
to do with which are the two best locations.
it's a show of force.
Cinematically, it looks better if you're fighting battles on multiple different fronts because you can cut to various different scenes.
Yes.
So when Robert Rodriguez was paneling this, it's like, right, we can have stuff kicking off here with the Gamorreans, and we can have stuff kicking off here, and we can have stuff kicking on here. If Boba had just got on the radio and said, everybody back to the palace, that's it. The entire battle would have then had to have taken place at the palace. Strategically better, but cinematically a bit boring, probably a little bit dull.
Yeah, no, and I agree. But also think about what that would have done to the fandom. Cinematically, it would have pissed more people off, right? Why is Boba Fett this bad A running away to his palace?
It's not running away.
But that's what it would have been seen as.
No, it wouldn't have been seen as that. It would have been seen as a
I
tactical
agree with
retreat.
that one.
It's
This
called a tactical retreat.
I
I
mean, it
agree
is.
with you on this one.
When you realize you cannot win a battle out front, out in the open, you tactically retreat to a stronghold.
It makes total
Okay,
sense.
you don't just keep going.
Yeah. Do I go like this to point to Nev and be like, yes, this one, I agree with him?
Yeah.
Because think about this for a second. How many people did they have to defend
No-
that city?
Bugger
Yeah,
all. Two
you got
Gamorreans,
Six.
a Wookiee, and
Gamorreans,
a handful of mods.
Fenneck Shand. Yeah, you had 8-9 people tops to defend a
Listen,
city.
they're like a
Are
dozen
you
people
crazy?
tops.
You can go back to the castle and get a ship, like 2 ships.
But then they also have Din Djarin, but then we also, right after the title card, have the arrival of an X-Wing. And
Yes.
Luke Skywalker is coming to it's just Grogu.
Yeah,
No,
it's just
it's
gross.
not. It's not though, because I had a bunch of coworkers today. I told them I was coming on the show tonight to, I said,
And they're like, good for you for a little talky YouTube show. Everybody has those.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, yeah, push up your nerd glasses a little bit. But then they're like, so what do you think about Book of Boba? And they kind of dove into it a little bit. And I had a coworker of mine. He goes, did you see the cape? I said, the cape? So when the X-Wing lands, the cockpit opens, you see a cape just for a second. And I was like, no, exactly that. You're exactly. I said the same thing. I'm like, no, it was just a little. He goes,
Grogu's blanky.
I stop motioned it, and he goes, I saw the little black cape. He goes, Luke's on Tatooine. I'm like, no. So I watched it tonight, and you do see a little flutter, but that's like seeing the Darksaber land after the Rancor fight. But anyway, we'll get to that one later
Yeah.
on.
We don't. I'm watching it
No.
now.
Yeah, I'm watching it now. I see no cape. I've
You don't
rewound
see it either.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
I have a lot. I have a lot to say about this, so I want to say some
All
stuff.
right, go ahead, man.
First
Let
of
her
all,
answer.
I saw the X-wing and I was like, oh hell yes, this
Mhm.
makes sense. Luke's coming to help, bringing Grogu. Everyone gets what they want, right? It just made sense. And then I saw it with just Grogu, and I just was like, ugh. And
R2.
well, R2 was there, but I'm kind of the guy that hates the sequels, right? I'm the conspiracy theorist. I want the retcons, and I'll get to that too. You know what I mean? That's why. And so I was just like,
Me too.
come on, man. And so what was the point of Mando's finale of season 2? What was the point of it?
Yeah.
What was the point of Grogu going there? It was just to bring us fans that were heated about what was before that to bring us back in, and it kind of just like the meme of Last Jedi Luke throwing the lightsaber back behind his back. It meant nothing. And what was the point of the episode before that? We got 30 minutes of Luke and Grogu training and built it up, and we loved it. I loved it. It was one of the best.
I did too.
Yeah.
It was one of the best content of Star Wars live action that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then you just do that to us. Now I do have a theory we'll talk about at the end. I think it's good for the end that actually might work out. But I mean, how cool would it have been if Luke came and helped out? You know,
Yeah. I think you're right. That would have been awesome. Because
Go ahead, Joe. What do you
Yeah.
got?
It could have been Grogu's essentially it could have been his Jedi trials, right? Like we know for a fact that the Jedi have to go through a trial to earn status of Jedi Knight, right?
Mhm.
This was Grogu's moment to say, okay, cool, I got to choose between X, Y, right? So I'm going there, and Luke could have been with him. They could have built that story into it and said, you know, and actually developed that.
What
That
if
cool.
Grogu hijacked the X-wing?
hold on, I gotta.
That would have been awesome.
Like,
R2
no,
was in
just
it.
take that
yeah,
out.
R2 was in
If
it.
R2 was in it, then there's no way Grogu hijacked that. It would have been awesome, but not a chance.
But that's another thing is what an a-hole move by Luke just to send Grogu by himself out in the galaxy
Yeah.
and not make sure he got there. Like, why would you do that? Why would you just send him off without at least escorting him there? You can leave him at Tatooine, make sure he gets to Mando, but why would you just send him with R2? Like, anything could have happened to him.
Because we all know
it makes sense.
Because we all know Luke he's not a real Jedi.
Cass says Grogu needed to go with Luke so that Luke could help Grogu remember.
And I think that's a big part of it because we don't know what happened, right? We don't know Grogu's backstory. Grogu didn't know his own backstory. He had forgotten much. I mean, what's her name said it? Ahsoka said it. Like, he's forgotten a lot. He's blocked a lot of it out. The man is 50 years old and he's already got Alzheimer's. Like, his people lived to 900. That's going to be a problem for him. I think there needs to be a
Barris helped him that bad.
Barris did help. I think Barris blocked all that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All that out of his mind.
Also, real quick, remember that Luke did the same thing in Empire Strikes Back. He went against what Yoda said and Ben said, did that, and then came back and still finished his training, still became a Jedi. So
you just made a case for why
that was okay.
terrible.
And like that,
I have Go ahead.
He wanted to go help his friends. That makes sense to me. And I think Luke would have recognized that, right? Mm-hmm. Luke, as the teacher, would have seen that and said, like, all right, go do what you need to do, right? I think you got something, Bones. I really do. Like, I completely understand the frustration of viewers who look at the end and we're like, of season 2, we're like, why did all those tears happen now?
I cried for no reason now.
Yeah.
I cried, man.
You played with my emotions, right?
Don't do that, Disney.
Yeah. But
Yep.
I think that's a real challenge. Not a real challenge.
At least we didn't get a force-sensitive janitor as the last shot of an episode. Okay.
I was hoping for that. I really was.
That would have been better.
The
Are
Force.
we talking about like radar technician Kylo?
Yeah.
what-
So anyway, we do have, Pelly pulls Grogu out, and then the next shot we get is, everybody gathering, and then Cad Bane
Oh, that
oh,
was.
God.
walks out into the street.
I gotta say that was awesome. They're all going to their various locations, and Fenneck's like, we're impregnable. Like this place is, we're locked up tight, and no one can sneak up on us. And then the robot walks in, and he's like, really?
Well, first we get Cad Bane. First we get Cad Bane giving him the the story that the Pikes are the ones that killed the Tuskens, not the Klatooinians.
Yeah. So true, we all knew it. It makes the most sense, right? And then Cad walks up and he's like, I'm gonna get him out, right? I'm gonna get him to attack me, right? What I love about this is this emotion, right? That we see it's that family, right? We get the call back to, hey, your family was murdered by the Pikes. This is, I'm sorry, I'm watching this. He says that Boba's like, I'm not going to, what does he say? I'm not going to negotiate with gutless murderers. And then Cad says, oh, I'm looking for it. Hold on. If that's not the Quacta calling the stifling slimy. Right? I gotta say, like, this was, I think, an excellent move for Cad, right? It was, hey, I'm gonna rile his feathers, I'm gonna get him out, I'm gonna throw him off his game, right? If not for Fenneck, Boba would have been pulled into this. He would have, right? He would have been pulled into the gunfight, and that would have, I think, thrown the whole thing off, right?
And I just want to say he stole every scene, Cad Bane, man. I'm a little sad about the outcome. There's theories that we can talk about too.
Oh, we will.
But he's
Are we gonna
awesome. Just looks awesome, man. And I hope that he continues on. But we can talk about that later. I just wanted to say that.
So go ahead.
After that's done, we then start getting the montage that all the other families are breaking their deals, and attacking each of the sectors that they sent. The mods, Kersantin. Kersantin got lit up.
Yeah, he did.
Hang on. Let me stop this right now. Let's not forget the Grimoire Guards. I don't forget the ones that were lost on Death Star 2.
That's awesome.
But when the Grimoire Guards were falling off the cliff, I'm not gonna lie, I shed a little bit of a tear.
I got a little choked up.
One, they were underfed. They obviously lost a lot of weight since Jabba's palace.
A lot of clothes they lost.
Yeah. Let's not forget the Grimoire Guards.
Yeah.
Black Chrysanthemum, he took his fair share. The Vespas, everyone else, but let's remember the Grimoire Guards.
The Gamorrean Guards were actually the saddest of the lost years. Like
which one was the saddest for you, Neil?
Sad. There was nothing sad for me in this episode.
Nothing?
Nothing?
No, nothing.
Oh.
Well, it just stone
when you think something's gonna happen, and it's like this is, and then it happens, you're like, that's what was gonna happen.
Now, okay, I've got to say it, what Nev is pointing out, I think, is absolutely accurate. What we've been
said last week, this is what was going to happen.
Yeah,
but it was going to be fighting all over the city. Everything was going to be ground based, and it was just going to be, shooting match because Robert Rodriguez was the director.
Yeah. But that's
once upon a time in Mexico.
This
slash
is
Blazing
a Western.
Saddles, slash a fistful of dollars, slash
All westerns. All westerns. Like, this follows a pattern, right? It's more about how the story is told instead of what specifically happens, right? I think that is probably where the Book of Boba Fett lost some fans like Nev. It didn't give us enough development for these characters.
It didn't resonate.
Yeah.
The story writing was.
It was told. I'm sorry, bud. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, no, do you think, bud?
It was told. It was told in a terrible order. You should have just started. Take the flashbacks out, tell 1 through 4, and then make the finale the fifth one, and then cut out the 2 scenes with Grogu, and then end the season with the choice. And then no one would have been disappointed. You would have kept
2 seasons or 2 movies. The entire flashback thing, the 5 years should have been one single standalone thing, whether they did it as a movie, whether they did it as a 3-part special and did like 3 60-minute episodes. That should have been separate. And the end of that, the natural end of that would have been where Boba finds Fenneck Shand. And then we return to Jabba's palace, and then we get that part. Because if they'd just done those 5 years, you know, all of that Tuscan, if they'd just done that all in one go, from when he escapes the Sarlacc pit to when he finds Fenneck Shand, right? I think it would have been better to have done that and then moved on with the, you know, up-to-date timeline stuff, because it was one of the things that pissed me off the most. It really was one of the things that pissed me off the most about the show, was him finding Fenneck Shand and me going, piss off, that was not 5 years. That was not 5 years. But if they'd spent more time on it and made it separate episodes or a separate season, they could have put a lot more in it to make it believable as that was 5 years of his life. Because it's not believe. I know you're supposed to, you know, suspend belief, but that was just so beyond believable. And we don't need to see everything. I'm not suggesting that we need to see anything. I mean, perfect example, Empire Strikes Back, you know, and Leia's trying to stop Han from leaving. Oh, well, the bounty hunter that we bumped into on Ord Mantell kind of changed my mind. Did we haven't got that as a show. I mean, all right, yes, there's a comic book about it, but, you know, there were gaps. There were clear gaps between the original trilogy movies. So I wouldn't have had an issue with a gap between when he finds Fenneck Shand and then, you know, doing the book, because we know what kind of happens there, because we got that in the Mandalorian.
Yeah, we don't need to know.
It was all over the place. It was too backwards and forwards. Yeah. And then when we stopped getting the flashbacks and it was still disconfabulated. It was still just all over the place.
My problem is you had my expectations so high after the Luke episode. It was so high. And then I watched it a second time. Like Paul saw me, I said it sucked on Facebook. But then I watched it after that, and it was better the second time because I knew what was going to happen. And I thought I was going to see Han. I thought maybe some more Luke. Like my expectations were so high that I was disappointed. So that's another reason.
This is what I preach from the mountaintop everywhere. Mm-hmm. When you go in to watch something with your own fan fiction in your brain,
I can't help it.
What you want to happen, instead of just being told a story, you're gonna come out disappointed. I went into to Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar, thinking that the Undertaker was going to beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
and
same here.
He was going to keep the undefeated streak going, and then my world was crushed. I could not watch the rest of that WrestleMania.
I haven't watched wrestling since that match.
Yep.
It ruined WWE for me, that match.
Brock Lesnar's from Minnesota. You know he's not going to lose. Come on, I don't care if it's The Undertaker or not. Brock Lesnar ain't losing. He's a Minnesota boy. Just saying.
So this I think Jorge says it right. The show should have been focused on Boba Fett and Cad Bane and their history, right? Or simply just Boba Fett, right? There was too much going on in here, and as a story, because it's told all over the place, it loses some of its the good stuff that happens is almost immediately undercut by what could have been, right? Where it looks like we're being set up for, and then all of a sudden it's like, what happened? Why did we go from here to here? And the switchbacks, I think, throw people off. And I think that's a legitimate criticism of the series so far. I'm not entirely sure if it will be fixed in season 2, if we have a season 2.
I don't think they will.
I just if I have to go back to the mentality that I had when I went in to watch episode 9, where I just crushed my expectations under, a metric ton of steel, so that there was no possible way I could be even remotely disappointed, because my expectations were like, if I have to go back to that for the next Star Wars live action, I'm going to be pissed.
I agree.
You
have all the money in the world. You have all the money in the world. That's what you gave us.
Next Star Wars live action is May 25th.
Yeah.
The 40th anniversary.
There's no way they're going to screw up Kenobi.
I don't think so.
No.
I think it's going to be good. I think it'll be good.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Nick.
As long as Robert
course,
Rodriguez isn't directing. And this is not me saying I don't like Robert Rodriguez. I just don't want him directing any more Star Wars. Go back to doing Mariachi and Spy Kids, dude. I mean, I respect you as a director and a producer. You've done some really, really good stuff. I just didn't like what you did in this, and the kicker for me was the dude with the fake eye doing a 360 to I'm like, oh my god.
Come on, that was beautiful.
It wasn't. I'm looking
the
at
pirouette.
that thinking, no,
it was
the
awkward.
pirouette. I'm watching
It was
that
like-
and I'm thinking
it
to
was like
myself,
Cycling
this is Star Wars. It's
Justice
not
League.
Desperado. All right, it's Star Wars, not Desperado, because that was pulled clean out of Desperado.
Was it?
That pirouette was pulled clean out of Desperado.
Hold
Nev,
on.
Sorry, Thaddeus.
Go.
I just want to ask Nev this. What if it was Dave Filoni's executive decision for Robert Rodriguez to direct those episodes? What if it was what if the Fedora himself came down upon high and said he must do these? Are you then going to put the onus on Filoni?
Yeah, of course I would.
Okay.
Not everything that Filoni does is a banger, but
I
he
just
makes
wanted to
more,
make sure that he
makes-
was not untouchable.
No. What for for Filoni? Not everything that Filoni does is a banger, but he makes more really, really good content than mere content. I mean, the only bad stuff that he's done is Star Wars Resistance. I mean, that's it. That's literally, as far as I'm concerned, that's the only bad stuff he's ever done. Everything else rates from meh to, oh my god, that was awesome, please have my babies.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that Resistance, for what it is not a terrible show. For what it is not a bad show. But because it is built around the sequel trilogy and there were characters that no one had the buy-in to, that was the problem. That was the big problem with
Except for
Resistance.
BB-8 and Poe.
Except for BB-8 and Poe, which are the characters that people love anyways from the sequel trilogy. They're like the only ones that people are like okay with. Like,
No, I like what his character could have been, not what his character was.
I liked Finn. I'm sorry.
I liked Finn too. He was a comedic. He
Finn.
was comedy. But like, as far
Finn
as
had
that
potential.
goes, I think that even that has its merit. Now, Joe, you've been patient. Run with it.
I lost my train.
Oh,
of
I'm
thought.
sorry.
I've gone on a tangent, so
we
we gotta get back on track. We gotta get through the episodes so we can all
we'll advance.
Our
We will
theories.
advance the episode. The Pike Syndicate comes towards the sanctuary or whatever it was called. Was
Sanctuary.
Operative word.
Was
the bombed out bunker.
Yeah, the bombed out bunker, exactly. And so Boba Fett sends Major Domo Butthead here.
yes.
I love that. I love this.
This is the best line.
And basically goes out there and says, I have the terms of surrender for Boba Fett. Go F yourself.
Yep.
I want to say I love that guy. I hope we see him more in the future. I love the.
You just like to watch him from behind.
I love a good
who
Twilight.
doesn't?
I love a nice Twilight.
So I've got to say about this character, right? I'm right there with you, Bones. He is well done. He is a groveling, sycophantic, like he's a perfect at what he is.
And he knows that. He knows it, right?
He embraces
he's
it.
100% bureaucrat. I mean, just like,
I loved it. Like,
yeah.
I look forward to him and Pelly being the governor or governess and his major domo or her major domo, right?
I like that. Yeah, that'd be cool.
So Pele is the mechanic.
The mechanic, yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know they're hooking up.
Oh, totally. He's not nearly as furry.
Yeah. Hey, dang it. You beat me to that one. Excuse me. You beat me to that one.
I know.
With the jaw wall in between.
Yeah. So one of the things, I mean, I do love, I enjoyed the action in this. I loved how Fenneck saved most of the Power Rangers, right?
Well, first off, I mean, he saves the Major Domo from being shot by the Pikes as he's reading the fact that flowers will grow on the arid sands of Tatooine, fertilized by the bodies of your dead.
Yeah.
by the blood of your dead, I believe was the term.
No, bodies. By the bodies, fertilized by the bodies of your dead.
Was it?
That was pretty good.
Both Din and Boba on jetpacks.
Yeah. This, I think, was the most Mandalorian thing that we've seen this whole series, right? That fight scene with Din and Boba, right? They're fighting from the sky. They're absolutely kicking butt. It's wave after wave of these pikes.
It's demolition, axe, and smash.
Yeah.
To reference more wrestling.
Yeah. I was going to say it's button mashing, but it's, which is the way I play every first-person shooter. Just
it was a straight up like Star Wars Battlefront Tatooine. I'm gonna go in there with my Empire with Boba Fett, and I'm just gonna rip this thing up, and I'm gonna get like a 200 player kill streak. Let's ride.
Although none of the enemies can hit anything for 40 minutes. Nothing.
Right. It's like playing it on easy mode. Come on, let's ride.
They hit him. They hit him all the time, but the Beskar and everything just stopped everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Everything. Yeah. These guys, I mean, I love that they're using the Beskar, but like the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, can they shoot anywhere but the Beskar? Like, I know that it's pretty prominent, but like it's also not very prominent in some areas, right?
So what do they have on under their Beskar? That's the question I have. Because they have like some sort of mesh like
cloth.
Like Under Armour.
You see, if Paris of Troy had been one of the people shooting, they both would have got hit in their ankles, and it would have been game over.
Right, because there's no armor.
There's not.
There's nothing on their ankles. Their Achilles tendons are just completely open.
But they get hit. They get hit in between those soft spots in their armor. What do they have? Because you see, Din Djarin in the last episode gets cut behind his armor on his leg with the thing, right?
So
and he gets hacked out. But what's underneath there? Because it obviously stops blaster fire.
I'm curious though. Is this why they gave Grogu the chainmail? Right? Because when Din sees Grogu, he doesn't say, "Oh, you're wearing the chainmail. You're wearing the armor." He specifically says,
Space
You're
mithril. Space mithril.
"Space mithril." But he
Exactly.
specifically says, "You're wearing the shirt." Right? That is an uncomfortable looking shirt, right? And so we don't see it, but is that what they're alluding to? That Mandalorians have that underneath?
That's a good point.
The armorer knew how to do it. This wasn't something, off. She was able to do it pretty easily, so she's done it before. Is that
so once
what they wear
again? It's another Book of Mormon, Book of Boba Fett. It's their magic underwear.
It's their magic underwear, right?
All for the best.
Right? It is. I mean, it very well could be, right? Do they have something that keeps them safe? Because otherwise, that's a really that's the thing that I've always struggled with the Mandalorians. I understand they're awesome fighters, but they're blasting out there with the half their body uncovered. Like, I know that your vitals are right here, and yeah, you get shot in the leg, you're tough. I get that. But like, if I'm someone in a gang fighting against a Mandalorian, I'm gonna shoot away from what's protected.
I'm going for the legs. I'm going for the back of the legs. I'm going right, because that's where the big artery. Well,
think how hot it is on Tatooine with mithril and cloth and armor and helmets.
Yeah.
So this is the point where Freetown rolls in.
Yes. No.
Thank you. You just reset.
Yep. Now
this is what I do on this show.
Yeah. He stops the fights between Nev and I, and but
Only because you always lose.
It's not the bloodbath that you would like it to
He
be.
shows pity on you.
He does. He does show pity on me. Like
There we go. Darth Malgus.
I've got to say though, like, one of the things that I liked about this is the rolling up of Freetown. I was kind of hoping that more of the city would unite against it. Like I mentioned it last.
No, that was the city. What are you talking about?
But
You realize it's like a western town. It's like
no, it is. But think about this. This is Freetown. This is not Mos Espa. No one in Mos Espa steps up and is like, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot a pike."
Let me put this in terms you'll understand.
All right, please do.
Houston is afraid of fighting back. Here comes Tom Ball.
That's exactly what it is. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the metropolis that is Houston, Texas, Houston is this big city. It has 5 million people. It's the third largest city in the United States. It is the first fattest city, because we don't do anything half-assed in Houston or in Texas.
2.31 in the city of Houston.
In the city of Houston. Tomball is a suburb, and when I was growing up, was about this big.
Tomball population 11,000.
Yeah, yeah. But like that's the point. Like Mos
Typical city folk expecting everybody from out in the boonies to do everything for them.
That is kind of what it comes down to, right? And they don't have it. That bugs me that they didn't step up. Like last time we talked about the Three Amigos, right? And I said that this was going to be a Three Amigos where these two guys are going to go out fighting and the city will step up. And that's what happened, but it's just a different city.
And a different Three Amigos.
And a different Three Amigos, right? It was
I also wanted to see the Tuscans. I mean, are they extinct now?
Yeah.
What
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so
where are these guys? Where are the
the
Jawas?
Tuscans that Boba Fett became friends with are gone.
But what they spread the word and said this guy like go help. And what was the point of the 4 episodes? I thought it was going to build up to something later on.
Yeah.
Is your neighbor literally going to listen to you and say, "Oh yeah, that dude in the El Camino is really really cool," and then all of a sudden they're going to go risk their life for the guy in the El Camino?
If I
that
was
you're
being
friends with?
shot at the house, if
Yeah,
a gang
I'm
came up and was like
sure.
screaming at, my neighbors would come out.
Then at least shoo them off or something.
Yeah, they'd call
Yeah,
the cops for whatever, but
They would call the cops, but who's the cops in this situation? The Pikes.
They're from off planet. They're from off planet.
So here's where like this has got a good transition into the point I want to make, right?
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so just bear with me. We're gonna go tangent a little bit. So this is my whole beef with like when it switched to the Mandalorian story 2 or 3 episodes prior. Don't get me wrong, the Mandalorian story, that's cool. I enjoyed that. But that was just a really expensive trailer.
Yep.
Now, when I started watching this, I got done with the Tusken episode when Boba built his big stick and he's like, yeah, cool. You're like, gaffy stick, you're done with that episode. You're like, oh yeah, this is gonna get real, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Makes
sense. But what it didn't do is it didn't continue that story on where Boba goes, and we all know he's a badass. Pardon the swearing. We all know he's a badass. But this is where Boba takes that badassery and says, I don't want to be the badass anymore. I'm going to build this planet up. He had the Tuskens. He had the Jawas. He met the Vespa clan. He met all these guys. And he could have built something up instead of 9 people to defend a city.
Yeah.
He could have built a tribe, and all of a sudden, I don't know if it was budgeting or they wanted to make the Mandalorian trailer, what they wanted to do, but they didn't build the Tuskens into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. His tribe died. They're eliminated. But it doesn't mean there are not other Tusken tribes that he could have said, by the way, these guys went and did this. And you could have had this epic journey of Boba going and uniting Tatooine to say, get the off my planet. We don't want you running drugs and spice on our planet, because
maybe that happens in the second book of Boba.
Well, hold on.
Are we getting a second book of Boba? That's the big question. But
we don't know yet.
But you look back on the original Mando, the first season, and you kind of have some basic plot, but it was fun. It was lighthearted. You're introducing new elements and you're having fun with it. And I kind of get the feeling that they're doing the same thing with this book of Boba, is they're introducing these fun little elements and these little teasers to build up, so that way you get the second season of Mando where Jedi Luke comes in, or
on Book of Boba on, please.
Yeah.
But they missed an opportunity, and that like when the Freetowners come in, you have one car. You basically have a carload of people saying, yeah, we're here to help.
This was the El Camino arriving.
Yeah, this is the El Camino arriving. Here's 12 more people to add to your 9. And oh, by the way, you can defend the city against 2 giant droids.
And this is the point.
Army, and you go, this is where the storytelling didn't meet the story, because they didn't tell the story that could have been told. When Fennec and Boba are standing on the balcony of Jabba's palace going, oh, we need some muscle. This is the point where you go, Dengar, boss.
Yeah.
And you go, okay,
Exactly.
Who was Boba's mentor? Who was Boba's mentor? Cad Bane. he could have reached out to Cad Bane at that point, and then you could have had this interaction with Cad Bane that said, "Nah, man, I'm not joining you. I'm with the Pike." And
Yeah.
then you have that story progression. So then all of a sudden, when Cad Bane meets Cobb Vanth, he goes, "Well, this makes sense," as opposed to just Cad Bane, which was epic. Don't get me wrong; it was a cool moment because Cad Bane. I mean, let's just be real. Cad Bane is
He's Cad Bane.
He's Cad Bane, and he walks out of the desert, and people are like, "Yo, who's this guy?" But you could have built that up instead of having the 2-episode Mandalorian.
I agree. Yeah.
season 3 trailer for.
It was choppy.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
So-
choppy.
So
Sidetrack.
So as Joe said, yeah, the 2 droids come in. Reminds me entirely of Droidicas,
100%.
Loved him.
but totally
We need him in the game that we don't talk about.
until the end.
Till the end.
But they do have the same shield.
Yep.
They have the same shield. Because their ballistics are too fast to get through the shield. Their it's the force back of energy weapons don't work on it because it is an energy shield. So
Okay.
What's up?
Pertaining to what's coming up, why do they just keep shooting the shields if they know they're not going to go through throughout the whole entire episode? They just keep shooting at him
To wear down the power cell.
So
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So it's the same reason why when ships have shields they keep shooting even though the ship has shields. It's because there can only take so much. Like did we see it in this? I'll have to jump forward. I was watching we did see it. It's when the Rancors shows up because they're fighting right until everything goes up. When you actually see the Rancor attacking the shields, it's not until he's able to do that the colors of the shields change.
Oh, okay.
Right? In the back of the shield, when Din is able to get in and use his Darksaber, which he can use now for whatever reason,
Yeah.
he's
He doesn't wield it deftly.
oh no, he doesn't.
Well, all he had to do was breathe.
It's not his. But anyway.
Yeah, that's true. That's a different part of the story, though. But like that's the thing is it's you see the color change in the shield because and that's what they're trying to do. So back to this, they are shooting, they are trying different things to get those shields to go down, but it is.
So what did Mando think he was going to do by using his flamer against it? I thought that was kind of stupid.
Look cool.
Yeah, it did look cool. I'll give you that.
Well, once again, to wear down, thermal energy. Flame is thermal energy projected. It is energy. You're reducing energy in the shield.
Okay.
Paul,
I'll go with that.
Can I ask you a quick one? So in the dice game, the miniatures, does flame, does rocket, does lasers wear down shields on ships within the game? Do you get rolls for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
you
all.
do.
I believe it, but I just was curious. That's all.
Yeah, in all Star Wars miniature games from Fantasy Flight, hits will reduce shields, and if the shields are finally broken, it hits hull or health points.
So like protection in the game we won't talk about till the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Let's move
love
on.
that we've brought Fantasy Flight into this. Great. That's how I got my start into Star Wars. One thing though,
Tabletop simulator. You, me.
I'm not
let's
good
go.
at it. I've tried. It's too simple for me to effectively use it. There's like
It's too simple.
yeah,
That's all.
I get really complicated. It gets weird, man. There is one though that I'm familiar with. I'll talk to you after though.
Yeah, and quickly, and then we'll throw back to you, Nev. Any input on this whole Shield debate?
No.
No.
Okay,
no,
I just want to make sure you know.
No.
We appreciate you.
we love you, Nev. I love so. Okay, I will say one of the things that I liked about this battle scene, and one of the things that I thought was neat about this was they weren't winning. They were getting their butts kicked. And Boba actually has to save the day, right? Because up until this point, he hasn't done a whole hell of a lot, right? But then he comes in on a freaking Rancor. And
it becomes a monster movie.
yes, very quickly.
Godzilla versus Mecha Mothra.
And Godzilla takes some hits. Godzilla, you know that when the Rancor eventually comes back with Baby Yoda on tow, right, back to Jabba's palace, Danny Trejo's like, "What the hell did you do to him?" Right? He's like, "What'd you do to my Rancor?" Right? You brought him back all dinged up. Right?
He's pulling out some Tuscan hemp cord. He's got to sew him up in the chest where he got slacked open, with the things. And he's like, "God, I got to sew up my Rancor."
But yeah, this part blew me away, though. I love this part. This was cool.
One of the cool things about this, though, is when I'm watching it now, when he's fighting the droideka, essentially, he just gets his thumb and he pokes it through the eye hole of the robot. Like, oh my gosh, that was like, I was watching that and I was like, that is the most gruesome thing ever done to a droid.
Oh, my favorite was when he ripped it in half.
Oh, heck yeah, that was awesome.
And then stabbed it with his own gun.
That was pretty dope. But all of this is happening. The Rancor goes.
I was just waiting for Boba to go Dracarys.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Dude, come on. Little Game of Thrones.
I mean, he kind of does. He grabs a pike and eats him, which was pretty awesome. I gotta say though, go ahead, Paul, or who? No. Okay.
We've skipped some stuff though, didn't we? Skip the reunion with Mando and Grogu.
Oh, and that was adorable.
I didn't like how I thought this should have been a different time. Like I thought it was kind of cheesy. I didn't really like it.
It's bringing in the levity, right? And Pelly is that comic relief, right?
Right.
This is after Din essentially, disables the Mega Droideka.
No.
It's still
before.
It's like mid-battle because
So
remember Mando's running from the droideka, and then all of a sudden
Pelly shows up.
Yeah,
Pelly
he jumps on the back.
Yeah,
he
jumps on the back.
Din had just stabbed Mecha Droideka.
I'm watching it now, man.
In the head. Yeah, you're looking at 37:52.
I'm at 33:30.
37:52 is when Din finally sees.
No, dude.
Grogu.
I don't care enough to have it on the monitor.
So Pelly shows up. Pelly shows up at 33 something, right?
Yeah,
and he's like, "Turn around," and she's like, "What?" And then, he jumps on the back of the rickshaw, right? Which I do also love that they have those there.
The droid's funny.
Yeah.
I like
Droid
the droid.
rickshaw.
And she's to get him to go faster. Where's she getting these hammers from? She's like throwing hammers at the droid, and it's like, "Go faster!" And it's like, where?
Yeah.
Does she carry the hammers with them? So let's see. So we jump forward a little bit. So he does see it is at like 34-ish when Grogu pops out, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Dad, what's up, man?" And then this is where Mando's
Huggy.
like, "You're wearing the shirt, right?"
On the shirt, Dad.
He's like, "Thanks for the hugs, loves," right? It's super adorable, and Grogu actually jumps, which is like he's moving. I know that he's a puppet, but I gotta say that I want more dynamic movements from Grogu.
It was a little awkward in this season. I agree. When he
Right.
walked.
I think he moves about as well as
awesome.
he moves as well as Yoda did.
As a puppet, yes, but I want Yoda from prequel Yoda. That's the Yoda that
he
I
was
think of.
flipping around and doing backflips and stuff.
And
Neil,
the Count Dooku Yoda, when he's fighting Count Dooku and he just,
okay,
Yeah.
Neil, it's 2-2. What's your tie-breaking vote on this one?
On what?
Which is better,
What?
CGI or puppet Yoda?
There's Nev.
CGI Yoda.
I'm with him. I like for what it is. I don't think CGI Yoda should be there in the originals because that's not the Yoda that we get. Right? That's not the Yoda that is at that time. But in the prequels, CGI Yoda, I'm hardcore about that. I think it's great.
You do that little.
Yeah,
cool
no, I mean,
freeze.
CGI is good. I mean, it's not always good.
Yeah.
But there are
True.
You know, there's always an exception to the rule. It's like the fight between Droideka and the Rancor. You know, I'm hearing in the back of my head, you know, Deadpool going, "Oh, big CGI fight coming right up," and then we get one between a Rancor and a great big droid.
So, Nev, I'm going to ask you a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
So Robert Rodriguez, did he direct like all the Transformer movies? Because that's what I
No,
was thinking.
that's Michael Bay. That's Mr.
Explosion.
Explosion, sexiness, explosion, sexiness,
Slow motion.
explosion,
Yeah,
explosion.
Isn't that what
That
Blonde is all about?
Slow-mo sexiness. That's
Yeah.
all Michael Bay's about, you know.
That's what I thought this one was. As soon as the Rancor appeared, I was like, this is going to be cool. This is awesome. You know, Boba riding the Rancor. But then as he's fighting the Rancor, I'm like, why don't you just grab your ship?
Yeah.
The meme, the
You
meme.
realize you destroyed like an asteroid field like twice. And then he went to a planet and then destroyed a spaceship with a sonic grenade. Why wouldn't you have grabbed that thing instead of something you had to saddle up and then ride all the way into town and then go and beat a bunch of things when you have lasers? I'm like, oh, it's over. But
Yeah,
that
no,
was-
it's exactly like season 1 of The Mandalorian, when the Mandalorian and Cara Dune are talking to each other about the ATST. It's just, there's nothing on this planet that can destroy that. And I'm thinking to myself, your ship. Go to your ship, fly your ship, land it in the village, and when the ATST comes over the hill, shoot it. No, but this, it's just the meme that spoke to, because I did see a wonderful meme, and it was a double meme. We all remember the meme from the sequel trilogy. What we wanted, which was Leia, Han, and Luke, and Chewie, and all in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. What we wanted, and then the picture next to it, what we got. And the one underneath it for this one is what we wanted, which was all of the bounty hunters just kicking ass. And then what we got, which is Boba with the mods.
Yeah.
Look, Robert Rodriguez has done this to himself, because he said before any of this aired that this was going to completely blow us away and it was going to blow our minds, and it hasn't.
Yeah, he
And
came
that's
out and
why
said
it's
that.
He did.
Yeah.
So
and that's why we're getting, you know, don't get me wrong, we're not getting like 30-40%. It's around that 60% mark, you know. People are content, but they're not blown away. And that's me. I'm content with a lot of criticisms, but under no circumstances was I blown away by any of it.
So here's the thing, Nev, and I think that you have a very you're valid. It's, I would say, 60 to 70% with diehard fans like Nev, and I think that would probably be an accurate grade for the diehard fans. For on average, the diehard fan, right? You're going to get those who are really high, and then you're going to get some that are more pessimistic than Nev, right? People that are really upset by it. But you have to get those. You have to consider that this is now mainstream, and this is bringing in a whole generation of new fans, right? I've talked to people who are not Star Wars fans who have watched this, and what the criticisms that you're bringing up, again, valid. That's not what they're thinking. That's not
because they haven't slept, lived, and drunk Star Wars.
You're right.
For 30 to 35 years.
You're right. But they will. They will. And maybe not all of it, and not even maybe, most of them won't. But a large portion of those new fans who've been brought over will now see this and say, yeah, this is something I can get behind. And
but we had this argument before. We've had this discussion before, right? In that you don't need to appease new fans. You need to keep the old fans happy and content and really loving it, because if all of these new fans that haven't watched or digested any other Star Wars content are enjoying this, imagine how much they would enjoy something that has a little bit more thought put into it.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got two types of fans. You've got the hardcore fans that know everything or think they know everything, like me. You know, I think I know everything. I don't know everything. I think I know everything about Star Wars, but I don't know everything about Star Wars, right? Now, getting me on board is like getting on board hundreds, if not thousands, of other hardcore Star Wars fans. People that haven't digested all of the stuff that I've digested, all of these books here, they're still gonna like it. Like you just said, people that haven't
these.
Oh, great book, Paul. Sorry.
All of these people that you've spoken to that have said, yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. They would have reacted in the exact same way if we'd got a more considered story.
I agree. I 100% agree. And I think that will always come down to laziness and doing the least amount of work to get the biggest bang for your buck. And I think that's what we got.
But that's not it. That's counter to getting the biggest bang for the buck is producing something that makes alpha consumer Star Wars fans pay. Wow, you know, I want that $500, you know, diorama of Boba Fett on top of a Rancor. I want the diorama of, you know, all you know, 5 hardcore bounty hunters from the original trilogy all stood around the body of. That is what hardcore alpha consumers that are hardcore Star Wars fans spend money on, and Disney makes money off that. But there's nothing there that makes, you know, if they don't produce something that makes people want to spend their money on products that are going to come from the show, then people are, it's like, oh, great, okay, so I'll have a Rancor. You know, and most of those fans have probably already got Rancors.
And I think that's the driving force of why Grogu came back, is to sell more Grogus. I honestly think that. And but I'm sitting here thinking, what is it?
Now you can get Grogu with a silver shirt.
There you go. And you have to pay. I paid what, 30, 40, 50 bucks for one for my kids. They're insane, and it wasn't even that nice of a quality. And I'm sitting here like, what is it, $8-10 million dollars an episode? And I'm thinking, after it's all said and done, that's the best you could have done, because I feel like they could have done a lot more with what they had. They did great things. I didn't hate the show, but they could have done much, much better.
How much money would Disney be making off merchandising right now if they'd put Dengar, Bosk, Forlom, if any of, how much money off the merchandising alone would Disney be making? They'd be making bank. Yeah. Instead, we got a Rancor, which is they're going to charge $200 for, and people are going to be like, fuck off. No.
I like the Rancor, but it was cool. But they could have done better.
So
people ain't going to be buying mod figures.
No,
I agree. They're not going to be buying Freetown figures.
Oh,
They would buy individual bounty hunters.
They will.
I would buy a Cobb Vanth.
Oh
figure.
God, yeah, Cobb Vanth is a cool character.
Oh, but
of course.
nobody's gonna buy. There you go. But nobody's gonna buy.
Hold on.
A Freetown figure.
That's
except
two of
for
them.
Cobb Vanth.
2 Cobb Vance. No, I'd buy the bartender. That
The bartender's
bartender was
cool, yeah.
dope, man. The weak
Yeah.
way.
But it's a
Yeah.
Weequay pirate, and you and I have soft spots for Weequay pirates.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. You know what I have to say is, in all honesty, I'm sick of the good guy win. You want to build a good story, you need to build conflict into that story. Okay? The good guy doesn't always win.
Yeah.
Sometimes the good guy has to pick himself up by his bootstraps and has to fight his way back up to the top. Now that's the problem with a lot of these Disney Star Wars things is, in the end, it's all happy.
There's no consequences.
There's no consequences. Give me some Old Republic style, like the new cinematic trailer that dropped today. You got Darth Malgus coming out, and all of a sudden he's just getting slammed up against a wall with a brick thing, and
Did you see that?
Yeah,
and
that was dope.
And
That was cool.
the Twi'lek's got the holocron with all the
Yeah.
kids' names on it, and then Malgus is just like, and all of a sudden you got red lightsabers and green lightsabers. Malgus is fighting her, and she bails out. All this is like
5 minutes, and that was amazing.
Yeah, and all these Disney Star Wars are all, if you look at the way every one of them ends, the good guy wins. You have your princess ending. They go up to the castle. Everything's good.
That's
Give me
why
a-
Empire. That's why. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, just give me something that the main character has to build himself up. You have character development, because
Yeah.
a good story
Because
involves
you've lost.
you get torn down, you get built back up because of the actions you do.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a good story. That's how stories are written. You fall down, you get up, and what you do to get up and triumph over good over evil. I'm cool with the good over evil, but give me something that you give me a stepping stone where you have to triumph over it and show me that you have character, you have substance to overcome said obstacle. And that's the problem with this new Disney world that they have, is these villains they're paper tigers. You knock them down, you blow on them, you send a Rancor
I
in,
agree.
and the Rancor smacks him on the head, and the other hero hops in under the shield and stabs him, cuts him in half, and it's over. And then the Rancor rips him in half. It's over.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah, and like
where's what did Boba have to do to get to that point? You don't have a storyline. He
and
didn't
you have,
build himself up. So that's kind of my
Yeah.
it's storytelling.
Joe
101.
wants kids to cry on Disney shows. Got it.
well, my two favorite movies.
Well said, Paul. Yes,
You
know,
can have a TV 14 though, and still have like Marvel still has stuff like this, right?
Infinity War.
well,
yeah.
even think of this. Like
And
when you
real
watch
quick,
the original three, did you cry? No. But Luke had struggles. He was a whiny little kid.
Mm-hmm.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a whiny little kid from Tatooine, but he struggled.
He was
fought.
an evil animal abuser. He shot womp rats from his T-13. You know,
Exactly. No. Yeah. But you know what I mean? That character development got you. By the time you hit Return of the Jedi, you were like, this guy, he's got something. He's working towards something that's better than what he is as a human being. And that's where we're missing a lot of this. Like when you see Rebels, Ezra builds himself up into a character because he's from the streets. He works himself up. He builds himself into a better human being to defeat. Spoiler alert, if you're listening and haven't watched Rebels, spoiler. Ezra defeats Thrawn because it's for the greater good. But you see that character development from a lowly person and works himself up. You don't. That's the storytelling in these newer episodes. We're missing a lot of that.
In Joe's world, there's only the first 7 Harry Potter films. There's not a part 2 to Deathly Hallows.
No, part 2 is. Yeah, you can't have part 2 because Voldemort dies. Voldemort's the best villain ever.
Yeah, kind of. It kind of falls short when, you've got this scene where you've got Din Djarin and Boba Fett, and they're in the ruins, and it's like, no, I'm staying. It's like them will die with honor, and I'm thinking to myself, no, you're not. It's the Book of Boba,
Yeah.
There's 2 main characters in this scene. I'm pretty sure you're not going to die. So
you've got plot armor, right? That's why he went.
Armor.
That's why he went with the ship or the Rancor and not the ship. The Rancor was introduced earlier. It had plot armor.
The question wasn't you're going to die. The question was who was going to come to the rescue. Yeah. And it just so happened that everybody came back to the rescue, apart from the poor Gamorreans, of course.
Everyone we didn't want that came.
Yes.
We really only needed the Gamorreans to come back. That's really.
They were the red shirts. They were the red shirts of the episode.
Yeah, unfortunately. There were a couple of mods that could have been more red shirted, but
all of them? Like all of them?
Hey, did anybody wish that when the Rancor threw the land speeder at him, it didn't hit anybody? I wish it would have hit a couple of them.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
that would have been
missed
awesome.
everyone.
Yeah, I don't know. So when the Gamorreans died, I was rewatching it tonight while I was preparing for tonight's show, and my daughter came in. Apparently, she wasn't supposed to be watching TV, and she came in and she was watching TV with me, and it was when the Gamorreans died, and she looks at it and she starts laughing, and I'm like, this is the saddest part of the whole show.
Yeah,
I think I'm raising a monster. But,
did you have a serious talk with her afterwards? Be like, honey, we need to talk about
honey, we don't push people off cliffs. That's not okay, right?
Even if they're Gamorrean.
Even if they're Gamorreans. Even if they're ugly, right?
They fight with battle axes and the lightsabers, but
come on now. But like that, I will say that was probably the saddest part of this was that the Gamorreans died. Right? I love what Pork Bubbles says in the chat. I also love the name Pork Bubbles. And Pork Bubbles points out, they say that I love this point. What if Pikes had won decisively, but then in the post credits, Fenneck Shand goes in and kicks a little ass, right?
Right. How mid would that be?
That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. Right?
You gotta have like the negative ending to build like think of like Game of Thrones, like the first 3 or 4 seasons like Game of Thrones, like the end of it, you're like the last episode, you're just sitting there most of the time, look at my face and you just go, yeah, you're just like, wait, that happened?
What? Yeah.
And that spawns more interest in future episodes because you're like, you can't just have the bad guy win, can you?
Yeah,
the bad guy win.
They tried to do that in the movie Dodgeball.
Yeah, and if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yes, exactly.
I need to make that shirt. I was actually thinking about that today. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Paul,
there's some out there. There's already some out there.
I know. I'm gonna need to make my own. Anyways, so the final scene, and we got to wrap this up because we still there's still so much to talk about. But let's jump to the final fight between Cad Bane and Boba.
Amazing.
Nev, I've got to hear your thoughts. Cad Bane, Boba, Cad walks out. You can almost hear the wow 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 wow. Right? I was clearly tone deaf when I did that. That was terrible. But yeah, Nev, fill us in. Give me your thoughts.
Needed a bigger wind up.
Really?
Yeah, needed a bigger wind up.
All right.
Cad Bane should have been introduced much earlier.
Cad
There
Bane
needed to be
shouldn't.
more.
Yeah.
There needed to be more interaction between Boba and Cad Bane for that fight to, like, really have teeth. Like,
Yeah.
really have teeth.
I want to say
I just don't think it had the necessary teeth. It was
Right
a good
before-
fight scene.
Yeah. Bones, go.
just right before that scene, it was cool. The Rancor throwing that person real far and then eating the other one. That's what I wanted to say.
That was awesome. That
And then-
was
and
an
then-
awesome moment.
And then Cad Bane comes in and then
Yeah.
shoots the Rancor with his fire thing, and then that goes down.
That was
That's it.
awesome. So here's the thing, right? I'm watching it now. There's a lot of it was. I think it was a great fight scene first and foremost, but I don't think he's dead.
That's what people are saying.
No.
I don't know.
He's not dead.
Run. I think it was you and I that were talking about this. He's not dead. You
He's
get
got
the little
he's got
the
life
little
support.
blinky.
Yeah.
right. I was really disappointed with the final scene, because what I was hoping would happen would be that Toto comes in and pulls Cad's body.
Is that his droid?
That's his droid. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is that guy
TOTO,
at?
right?
Yeah.
That would have been a perfect end credit scene.
Yeah.
You pull his body out, or like he's dead, and then like Toto comes in and, I don't know, shocks him or something, and then, you know, Cad's body just jolts awake. That would have been the perfect ending.
Isn't Toto the one who put that life support thing on his chest?
I think so. I would assume so.
Was that in Bad Batch or Clone Wars that he did that?
It would have been in Clone Wars, because I don't think it was done in Bad Batch. Well, it wasn't in Bad Batch. I know that.
The only stuff from the Bad Batch was the back and forth between Fenneck Shand and Cad Bane.
Yeah. But like this is my thought though. Like, I think Cad would have been prepared for something like this, right? You've got the tubes in his face, down his throat. You know, he's super prepared to fight against Jedi. Being stabbed in the heart, that's not going to take him down.
It wasn't even in the heart. It was
Sternum.
right at the bottom of the rib cage.
Yeah, stabbed in the belly.
Disney's stupid if they killed him, because he looks amazing, and I want to see more.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
Let's bring one old school bounty hunter back so that Boba
Kill
Fett can kill him.
Yeah, that would make no sense.
And instead of a bunch of people around the table going, "Oh, no, that's a bad idea," everybody around the table's like, "Yeah, that's a really great idea. Yeah, you should do it." Fucking surrounded by yes men. That's where I see a lot of the bad points here coming up, is no pushback from people at the creative table saying, "Hang on a minute, whoa. Maybe not. And we know how pushback can make something great. Wonder Woman, freaking awesome. Why?
The first Wonder Woman.
The first Wonder Woman, freaking awesome.
We need to
Why?
clarify.
Because the director was told, no, that would be bad. No, that would be bad. We can't do. No, you can't do that. No, pushback. Wonder Woman 1984, same director, does whatever she wants. Everyone just goes, yeah, that'll be great. Flop.
Yep.
I think there's too
Mandalorian.
many people. I think there was too many people at that table when they were doing their talking about and their storyboarding and talking about what they're going to be putting in the show. There was too many yes men there and not enough people pushing back.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about bounty hunters here, for goodness sake. There's they can be pulled from anywhere, literally, and they bring one back just to kill him.
Think of this now. Like, seriously, how many bounty hunters did Fenneck Shand know? How many bounty hunters did Boba Fett grow up?
Did the Mando know?
God. And then you think
Like-
about this. They're standing on the balcony at Jabba's palace and be like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know where to hire anyone." Like, dude, you're a bounty hunter. You worked with Dengar, Boss, or
Yes, but then they just saw Cad
And then-
Bane working with the Pikes.
right. But think how that story could have been. he
But-
could have gone to them and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go find Cad Bane." And he goes and talks to Cad Bane, and Cad Bane's like, "No, Boba,
Not even
I'm
that.
working with the
I've already
Pikes."
taken a contract for the other side.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
not
you-
even
then
that.
Now you have a story to introduce Cad Bane to take out Cobb Vanth. You have 2 episodes instead. You do a high budget trailer for Mando for 2 episodes instead of going. This is where Boba could have went and said, I'm meeting Cad Bane," and Cad Bane tells me, I killed your Tusken buddies, and I'm working for the Pikes. What do you got to say about this? And then he goes and and then you have a story. You have you have a conflict. You have a story. You have plot. You have character development, and they chose not to do it for the money, and it was
So after this,
sorry, tangent.
after the cat, getting making a cad kebab, we end up getting once again Godzilla,
Yes.
where the Rancor
King
comes
Kong.
back. What's that?
It was a King Kong reference.
It was
'cause he's climbing
absolutely a King Kong reference.
Yeah,
He's climbing
King Kong, Godzilla, Kong versus Godzilla.
Mhm.
Still fun movies.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
He climbs up the spire.
he climbed up the spire. Mando goes to help him out. He throws Mando to the ground. Grogu comes out and starts treating Grogu as Black Widow and the Rancor is the Hulk.
Actually, I gotta say something before you go too far. Did anyone else find it interesting that the Rancor is very human-like in the sense that he was trying to open up the Mandalorian with his teeth?
Yeah.
It was like a bottle that he couldn't get open. All right.
I thought it was way smarter than when I imagined
Yeah.
Rancor. It was way smarter than which I liked it. I liked how they did it, but he was
Yeah.
and don't forget about it was kind of an epic battle with Mando versus the Rancor for a minute. That was a pretty good battle, I thought too.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was.
Yeah, it was funny. He was trying to take the helmet off with his teeth. Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. But sorry, Paul. Go ahead. Grogu comes out.
Grogu comes out and puts the Rancor to sleep, just like he did the Mudhorn.
Yep.
What
And
did you
then they
guys think
both
about
take
that?
a nap.
What did you
And
guys
then
think
he
about
takes
that?
a nap.
Yep.
Did you guys like that? Thought it was cheesy. What do you think?
It should have
It
been
wa-
done by Boba. Boba should have gone over there and taken control of his beast.
Is it sad to say that I was kind of like I was happy not to have Grogu, and
Yeah.
I love Grogu. I love him, but we didn't need him in the series. Like I loved him with the Luke stuff was awesome, but it just was too much of Grogu again. I wanted to have a little break from him, and so I thought it was kind of cute, but at the same time I was kind of rolling my eyes like, can we get some,
Something else.
more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we roll some Dengar stun grenades? Maybe.
It could have been
Oh.
any number of other things. And
Yeah.
and I loved it. I thought it was adorable, but it wasn't needed.
How many times is he going to give him the ball? Can we retire the ball scenes too? Because he's always got a ball. Like keeps handing it to him.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But
We've covered that. The final scene of the episode itself, Fenneck Shand takes out the heads of the Pike Syndicate and the heads of the families for betraying Boba.
So that's not the final scene. So that's the final scene of the battle. The final scene of the show is this everyone gathered around, Boba's walking through the streets of town. Everyone's like, "Oh, honorific," and everything's going well, and
Shiny, happy people.
shiny happy people.
and then
Right?
it just ends.
It
And I
just
was like,
stops.
that's it. Why did Han land and say, "Did I miss something?" Or all I needed was him to come out and say a one-liner and then end it. That's all I wanted.
Once again, you're fantasy booking the Undertaker's matches.
I know, but if they would have ended with that, I would have said A+ to this. But
Yeah,
that's all I needed.
If they would have ended with that, I would have said F this S and I'm out of here. I would have
Yeah.
been like this, okay?
That would have pissed me off as well. Yeah,
Why? Why would it piss you guys off?
because it's unnecessary.
Yeah, it would have been
It's
it would have been
irrelevant to
fan
the story.
service that for the sake of fan service.
I get you. Yeah.
I like it would have been funny. There are people that would have loved it, obviously, but like it would have been fan service for the sake of fan service.
Right.
All you see is Han go.
What happened?
The shrug,
Not even say
shrugging
anything.
motion.
You just
Exactly.
I'd have
Right.
been fine. A+.
So let's go ahead and let's give us our rating. So
Don't forget the post-credit scene.
don't forget the
Oh,
post-credit
okay.
scene. We got to talk about RoboCop.
okay, RoboCop is now a thing.
Will be a thing. Yeah.
Will be a thing. Cobb Vanth survives. He is in the back to tank, and
I wonder what he's dreaming about.
probably I don't know.
Jawas.
Jawas.
I personally think he is being primed for Rangers of the New Republic. He'll be one of the characters in Rangers of the New Republic.
So
I thought that was
Cara Dune.
canceled.
So
I think
no,
I-
it's just got shelved.
I
So-
really think you're right now.
I think so too, and I'm starting to think that he is going to be the replacement for Cara Dune.
No,
I
he
thought
won't be
they
the
canceled
replacement.
that.
He'll be part of the team.
He's gonna be.
Oh, they're bringing care of
I
that.
thought they canceled that.
No, it's
They,
no,
they
it
haven't.
wasn't
They
cancelled.
haven't
They
canceled
shelved
it. They shelved
because
it. Yeah.
They shelved it
Oh,
because so
gotcha.
many of the other shows were in pre-production, and
Yeah.
like you had Book of Boba, Mando season 3, and the Kenobi series.
Yeah.
That there's only so much. If they tried taking on a fourth, it's like, you know what, the beauty with shelving the Knights of the Rangers of the New Republic
Yeah.
is it gives them more time to generate characters, ancillary characters in shows that people can get behind, that they can put together as an ensemble for a different show. Cobb Vanth is one.
Yeah.
You know, what's his face? The guy that plays Bill Burr, the Bill Burr character. What's his face?
Oh, good lord.
I've forgotten the character's name. He'll be one of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, I know it right. It's on the tip of my tongue,
Mayfield.
too.
Mayfeld. You know, Cara Dune, Mayfeld, Cobb Vanth. There's the first 3, and there'll be someone from the Kenobi show in it, and there'll be somebody from Mando season 3 in it, and there'll
Yeah.
be someone from Ahsoka in it, and then boom, then we'll get Rangers of the New Republic, and it'll be, you know, all those people getting rounded up to go out and do cool stuff and stop bad guys.
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic is going to come post Ahsoka, because
Yeah.
Ahsoka is going to be like the end game moment, and then
Yeah.
Rangers.
Yeah,
of
but
the New Republic is gonna be
Ahsoka season
very good
4
story.
or season 3 will be the end game moment.
So Jorge in the chat actually brings up a great point. He says Cobb Vanth is being set up to be the new daimyo at the end. Fett says that he's not suited for ruling Mos Espa. So after all of this,
Yeah, what was the point?
Fett's like, F it.
Not, right?
I'm out. This I can't do this, right? So I do think that's what's going to happen. I think Cobb Vanth, who now has a connection with the Jawas, who now has a connection with the Tuskens, he is going to be this Mos Espa daimyo. But I think what he will do is he will set up reunification of like the planet. Like everyone will rally behind Cobb. I think Jorge hit the nail on the head here. And I think
He's a good character. I want to see more of him.
Yeah, I do too.
The show pretty much negated itself, and
It
stuff
did.
Before I mean,
Like-
it made no sense. So
Yeah.
that was one of my. I want to say something before we give our ratings. I was sad that a lot like the Mando season sets you up for so you can kind of have an idea what's coming up, right? Well,
Yeah.
it never really set up anything past this, and maybe it wasn't supposed to or whatever. I was kind of sad that, like you said earlier, it just ended. And so I kind of want to, since I'm the conspiracy theorist, I told you earlier I was sad that
just you.
Thad, I believe you are too. So
I have
you
my
might hear me out on
moments.
this.
Let's hear it.
So you know, I was like, pick the lightsaber because you and I watched Doomcock. He said the same thing. Like if he picks it, it's officially retcon. Well, he didn't. Well, I'm thinking that we're still going to get the retcon, but we're still going to have Rey, Kylo in the future, but it's a different timeline. We have the same characters.
Neil's
good.
covered that many times in
I don't know.
his
I think-
beliefs.
So Ahsoka will do it. I've heard Ned talk about that, where Ahsoka will retcon it, but it's going to be a different timeline. But we're still going to get Rey. we're still going to get Kylo. We might get other ones too, but different events are going to happen. And I think that's where they're going for.
I think it's very possible.
But also, I'm seeing things where Favreau said this is going to lead up to the sequels. So I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah.
But
he did say those. So I think the thing you're thinking of, he was in I was actually watching something today about it. He was in an interview in the 2019, 2017. It was specifically talking about the episode in the way, not the Wayback Machine. What do you call that? The World Between Worlds.
Between worlds.
Yeah, and he specifically says, "I hope we don't use this for that." Right, as a retcon device, because it would be lazy storytelling. But I think based on what a lot of stuff's happened, yeah, I think you could be right on the money. I think I would.
It's the lazy storytelling that we all want. So
Yeah.
bring it on.
So
Fans wanted it.
Stop
Yeah.
booking the Undertaker in your mind.
yeah,
I know,
I think that's the key. Get rid of all expectations.
After this, I've kind of done that. So
Yeah.
I agree.
And that is why I'll start this out. That's why I give this episode an 80. 80% full back to tank. And with that being said, as far as the entire series, 90.
All right. Nev?
I'll give the episode an 80 and the series a 65.
Oh, all right. Run. What are your thoughts?
I'll give this episode a 40.
Oh,
Just because it was fun, got the fans involved, but didn't tell a story.
So below average of all Star Wars.
wow.
Yes, I will, because there was no story. It was
Right, even worse than episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8 of the final season of the Clone Wars.
The
Because
Sisters Martez?
the sisters
There was a
Martez.
story. It was just really forced.
the Martez sisters. I still think they have a place in Star Wars universe, but we're not going to have that argument now, because you and I could go back and forth on that one for the next 45 minutes.
Rabbit hole.
I think the people live streaming right now don't want to hear you and me talk about the Martez sisters. Anyway, like it's a 40%, because it really was just, it was a Michael Bay fight scene from start to finish with no storyline. You had no character development in it.
And spinning.
Where you had
It's a neat trick, Neil.
A pirouette.
So
Yeah.
that's where I let it go. Unfortunately, but
Okay, so the episode without the Rancor, a 10. With the Rancor, 70. The Mando episodes, 10 out of 10. With overall, let's say without the Mando episodes, a 40. But all together, 75.
That's some advanced calculus that I'm not capable of doing.
there are multiple variables there.
Yes, there was an X involved. I'm not sure. So as far as this episode goes, I'm with Paul. I think this was an 80. I do. I think this was above average. I don't think this episode was meant to tell a story as much as it was trying to wrap up one. And with all of the pitfalls that we saw throughout, the holes that we saw throughout, I thought it was fine. You know, it was fun. It was exciting. I remember, like, there were moments that I got up in my chair and I was like, yeah! You know, like, I liked it. I really did. As far as the series as a whole, I'm going to give it a 70, actually. I think there were enough moments that kept the story going, but there's also some really big holes in storytelling. I'm going to give more credit to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni than I think Nev might. I'm hoping that there's more to it, but I enjoyed it. I will probably rewatch the series as a whole. I did watch every episode like 2 or 3 times, so I'm gonna have to put some time between my next binge of the series. But but I liked it, and if there is a season 2, I'm actually going to be looking forward to it. I think there will be.
Nothing confirmed as of yet,
But-
according to E Online.
Yep, and which is disappointing. I mean,
And I want to address the bantha in the room real quick.
that said it.
And Neil,
Yes.
Cara Dune was not in the book of Boba
Yeah,
Fett,
I know. Fine.
which
I know.
means that you owe me an Omicron.
Yep.
Screw the polls. Screw the polls. Screw, I am going to tell you where to put it. You ready for me to tell you where to stick it?
Right in your rose.
I am a just and fair ruler of the fact that Gina Carano will never be back in Star Wars. Go put that on Princess Leia. Have a nice day.
That's a decent one.
Aw,
That's nice.
that's nice of you.
Yeah.
It's GAC related, and he built up Leia so he could end up getting a better character. So
I want that one too, so I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, when it comes to this, and I'll end here. I do think this introduced a lot of really fun characters that I think. There you go.
Good job, buddy.
That I think that we're going to see a lot more from, and both in the Star Wars universe, storytelling and the TV shows and the comics. I think that's fun. But I think we'll see quite a few for those of you who play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I think we'll see a lot there too as well.
Black croissant. We need him in the game.
Santo. We need Santo. Love
that. Quick,
Yeah.
can I say one thing
Go
before
ahead,
we sign
DM.
off tonight? Okay, I just want to say thanks to everyone who tunes in live on the chat, types in here. You have good conversation. We might not all agree on theories and all this sort of stuff, but this is where we all come together. This is where we all just kind of get together with our nerdiness and have a little bit of fun theorizing, talking about it with our friends and people that we respect. And it's
I agree, bud.
to be included on a show that I've been watching since what was it, Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and just watching these guys, and these are my friends.
Yeah.
And to be on here and share it with you guys in the live chat, you guys are the best. And we might not always agree, but much love. And thank you for the honor of taking part in this round table discussion of the finale of the Book of Boba. And you guys are the best. This is the best community ever. And I've always said it, and I'll continue to say it. You guys are the best.
I second
Much
that.
love.
Well, we love having you on, guys, and we love doing this. Now we will be back May 25th.
Yeah, May. Okay, so May. Let's see.
May
25th
is a Wednesday. I'm assuming.
May 25th is a Wednesday, so we'll see you guys on May 31st for the first episode of Kicking It with Kenobi.
Kicking it with Kenobi.
I like it. I like it.
So, let's go ahead. If you guys can find all of us in various locations.
Yep. Run DMV, great friend of the show, of all the shows. Go check out Bones 88, BONEZ 88 on Twitch and right here on YouTube. He does some he's up and coming, amazing content creator. Do not want to miss him. Neil is doing his GAC attacks on the Escape Podcast Twitch channel at Escape Podcast. We finally are on the very last world. I beat all the Sonic races. We are going to complete Lego Dimensions this weekend, which means that we inch closer and closer and closer to doing Lego Skywalker's saga once that comes out. But first we have to get through all the other 8 games that are in the way from Dimensions to there in release order. But it's happening soon. We're not stuck behind Sonic races. That can be found on Twitch at Vault 37 Studios. But most of all, make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel, Going Nerdy, for all of your best Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Mike Zero bullcrap that you want to see. And also the wonderful man that put that essentially the Nerdy Network has grown into and spawned from, Thaddeus Broderick. Thank you very much for another wonderful season. And I just want to remind everyone to be nice to each other, damn it, and to remember to smile.
And stay nerdy. Nev, hit the button.
Peace.